It's afternoon of Sunday. At this moment, the death toll is now it's 600. There are still people missing. They're the hostages. And of course, the proper military confrontation, so to speak, hasn't even started. We've seen the announcement by Netanyahu. We've seen the military mobilization. We are on day 2. How do you evaluate the situation? What do you hear from Israel?
The 6-Day War, the Yom Kippur War, the War of Independence were wars against armies of countries. This is a war against an organization that I think the fact that it still exists maybe shows, if we're going to be generous towards the Israeli government and governments past, which I don't think we should be, they weren't taken seriously as a military force. They were taken as, some people who fire homemade rockets from their vans or whatever. And this is obviously a well-planned attack. So Hamas released videos of the initial attack. I don't know if this was seen, of how they attacked with drones, the points where Israel looks across the border, and then they fired rockets at the same time, and then they had paragliders. And so this was all planned for a long time. Something like 5 stabbing attacks or attempted attacks in Israel. Yesterday, there was also a terrorist attack in Egypt where an Egyptian cop killed 2 Israeli tourists. This served as encouragement for the Palestinians or for any terrorist who wants to kill Jews, and it will continue to serve as an encouragement until there is a response that is fitting. 9/11 could and should have been a wake-up call for America to say, okay, there are people who hate America, love death more than we love life. They've shown that then. This has been shown now. This could be a wake-up call for Israel, though Israel doesn't really need a wake-up call, you would think, because the attacks are daily and the attempts are daily. So there is that question now. What is going to be the response?
We are, let's say, students of history. So the more I think about it, the more I think it's more unique than 9/11. But basically, you had terrorists attacking civilians. Yesterday, we had something else. In Gaza, Hamas is the official authority. Something that looks like a state, but it's basically a militant jihadist expanded base. So yesterday, you had the equivalent of something like a state, supported openly by other states, doing attacks that are like the Visigoths, the barbarians. We enter your territory. We don't care about capturing strategic heights, capturing material. We're gonna kill your civilians. We are going to abduct children, elders, your women, kill them. This is how savages, barbarians, this is how hordes used to act. Pre-medieval warfare. So it's worse than terrorism, and it's perpetrated by an official authority. It's perpetrated by the group which is the supposed authority in Gaza, the group which has the support of states, definitely of Iran, of other states. Yesterday, what's happened is by the people who should be the discussants when it comes to Palestine having a state. These are the people who we are told we should sit on the table with them, or when it comes to Gaza, we should say apologies for the blockade. We should have more respect to you.
People who are on social media will have seen images and videos that leave no room for any argument that these people are not savages. And again, I would encourage people to go in and see those videos. That they're horrendous, but you need to understand exactly what it is we are up against. When we advocate for completely destroying this enemy, it's important to see how this enemy behaves, and an interest in showing those videos, because historically Israel negotiated with Gilad Shalit, the Israeli soldier who was held hostage for 5 years by Hamas. Israel gave up over 1,000 prisoners. Hamas wants to show this. Hamas wants to show children. Hamas wants this negotiation to happen. These scenes are heartbreaking, but I think the right thing to do here is to go to this military action as if there are no captured Israelis in Gaza. I think that the Hannibal Directive, the idea that if a soldier is captured, you shoot at the capturers, knowing that you might hit the soldier. I think this should apply for the whole Gaza Strip. Probably an attempt to rescue all of them would cost more soldiers' lives than the number of people who were killed yesterday. The thing to do now is to say all these people who died yesterday, all the hostages, that is the result of decades of terrible policy on Israel's part. And the correct policy now has to be the elimination of Hamas at whatever cost, certainly at whatever cost of life in Gaza, certainly in terms of Palestinian life, and then complete and permanent reoccupation of Gaza. Nothing serious has been done militarily in Gaza since leaving, and now we are seeing the results of that. It is a time to change the policy. The ideal thing would be, let's release all the prisoners to one spot in Gaza and then obliterate that one spot, but that's not how it works. This is a situation where those hostages should be presumed lost, and then if there's any possibility of actually rescuing any of them, then great.